Imagine an invitation, a seemingly simple note passed in the bustling crowds of a vibrant festival. An invitation that promises an evening of unique fun, a chance for an adventure. But what if that invitation, unbeknownst to one person, was actually a ticking time bomb, a psychological trap set to detonate the moment a confident, dismissive ego walked right into it? What if the damage wasn't just to a company's bottom line, but to a friendship, a relationship, and someone's entire sense of reality? This isn't a story about a greedy corporation or a faceless entity. This is about Mike. Back in high school, Mike was my best friend, but there was always this underlying current between us. He was competitive, especially when it came to girls. It felt like he always had to one-up me, or maybe just always had to be right. And if I ever suggested something was more complicated than he thought, he'd dismiss it with a smug wave of his hand. He was dating a girl we'll call Stacy at the time, and I was single, the perfect setup for a lesson in humility. We were all at the Renaissance Festival. Me, Mike, Stacy, and a few other friends. The air was thick with the smell of roasting turkey legs and the clang of blacksmiths. We were browsing a shop filled with geodes and crystals when a Ren Fair employee approached our group. She looked directly at me and with a knowing glance handed me a small card. It simply read, "Cloven fruit, come back around closing." I knew immediately what it was. I mean, who doesn't know about cloven fruit? It's not exactly a secret for those in the know. Think of it like a very old school, very particular kind of social club dating back centuries with a specific ritual. You're offered a piece of fruit, often a peach, with a clove stuck in it. How you interact with that clove dictates the level of intimacy you agree to. Just a kiss of the fruit, a hug. Bite the clove, more. Bite the whole clove in the fruit? Well, that's an unmistakable invitation to a very private, very intense experience. And I knew the invitation, though handed to me, was for our whole crew. Mike, bless his oblivious heart, immediately puffed up. "Ha, you probably only got that because you don't have a girl on your arm," he scoffed, nudging Stacy playfully. I tried to warn him. "Nah, I think it's more than that, dude," I said, trying to hint at the deeper meaning without betraying the specific details of the club. But Mike wasn't having it. He was already convinced he had me figured out. More than what? Dude, they're probably just trying to get rid of inventory before closing. Free stuff. We gotta take a chance, man. Let's do it. He was practically vibrating with the idea of a freebie, convinced it was just some sort of marketing gimmick. Just go for it, he insisted, eyes gleaming with what he thought was shrewdness. So I did. I said, "All right, Mike, if you say so, let's all go back around closing." As the shadows lengthened and the festival began to wind down, our group made our way back to the designated spot. Mike was still excitedly chattering about what kind of free stuff we might get. Then Stacy, his girlfriend, suddenly produced a perfectly ripe peach, a single clove nestled firmly within its skin. I had no idea where she even got it, but in that moment, it was clear the invitation was fully in motion. She looked at me, a question in her eyes. I almost took the full bite. I genuinely liked Stacy, but I knew what I was being asked and I couldn't go through with it. Not like this, not under these circumstances. So I made my choice. I gently kissed the peach, just a soft touch, signaling my respectful decline of anything beyond a simple acknowledgement. "Hey," I said, passing it back, "I can't do that." What happened next was swift, brutal, and entirely irreversible. Stacy didn't miss a beat. Without a word, she turned away from me, peach still in hand, and immediately found another individual in the dwindling crowd. We'll call him the Harry Potter. She offered the peach to him. He took it, bit down on the clove, then the fruit, making his intentions crystal clear. Within moments, they were walking off, hand in hand, towards a secluded tent deeper in the festival grounds, disappearing into the twilight in the sounds of distant merriment. Mike was frozen. His mouth hung slightly open, his free stuff fantasy shattering around him. He finally turned to me, his face a mask of disbelief and pure, unadulterated rage. "You knew," he practically hissed. "You knew what this was and you didn't say anything?" I met his furious gaze. "Dude," I replied, my voice calm, "I told you I thought it was more than just free stuff, remember?"
He sputtered, searching for words, for an argument, for anything to undo what he just witnessed. You could have easily said, "Hey dude, it's a club. Maybe don't take your very unavailable girlfriend." And he had a point. He really did. I was absolutely a total jerk for letting him walk into that. But by then, the damage was done. In a matter of seconds, driven by his own arrogance and my passive compliance, Mike lost his girlfriend, his pride, and ultimately his best friend. What's the true cost of that kind of public humiliation and instantaneous loss? How do you put a price tag on a destroyed relationship and a friendship that collapses in a single silent moment? It wasn't money, it wasn't time off, but the emotional wreckage was immense. A perfectly good relationship gone. A lifelong friendship irreversibly broken.